There are people who spend their entire lives waiting for things to change while never discovering the power already placed within them. They wait for better days, better opportunities, better circumstances, and better seasons. But real transformation does not begin around you. It begins within you. Many people believe faith is merely hope, emotion, or wishful thinking. But faith is much more than that. Faith is a living force. It is a spiritual principle that changes the way you think, the way you speak, the way you live, and ultimately the direction of your life. Some have struggled with fear, failure, disappointment, sickness, financial pressure, broken dreams, and unanswered questions. Yet there is a secret that countless people miss. When faith becomes active, limitations begin to lose their authority. Today we are going to uncover 12 powerful faith secrets that have the ability to transform your entire life. These are not complicated theories. These are practical truths that can move you from weakness to strength, from confusion to confidence, and from defeat to victory. Stay with me, because one truth applied can change an entire destiny. Many people place circumstances above truth without even realizing they are doing it. The moment pressure comes, they immediately look at what they can see, what they can feel, and what appears to be happening around them. They measure every possibility according to visible evidence. If the situation looks difficult, they assume defeat is near. If obstacles appear large, they believe there is no way forward. If problems continue longer than expected, they conclude that nothing can change. This is where many people lose the battle before they ever step into victory. Life has a way of presenting circumstances that seem larger than your strength. There will be moments when challenges stand before you like mountains. There will be days when the report is negative, when finances seem limited, when opportunities disappear, or when disappointment tries to settle into your heart. In those moments, many people begin allowing the situation itself to become their source of truth. They start saying, "I guess this is how things will always be." They start believing that what they currently see is all there will ever be. But circumstances are not permanent. Conditions change, situations change, seasons change. What appears impossible today can look completely different tomorrow. Many people have watched doors open that once seemed permanently closed. Many have seen answers arrive after believing there was no answer. Many have experienced strength after feeling completely exhausted. The mistake people make is assuming that present conditions possess final authority. Truth operates differently. Truth remains stable when everything around you seems unstable. Truth does not shake because pressure appears. Truth does not become weaker because difficulties become stronger. Truth remains the same whether you are standing on a mountain or walking through a valley. Think about a ship crossing the ocean during a storm. Strong winds push against it. Waves rise around it. Dark clouds surround it. If the captain begins following the movement of the waves instead of trusting the compass, the ship loses direction. The storm itself becomes the guide instead of the instrument designed to lead the journey. Many people live exactly this way. They let fear become the compass. They let circumstances become the guide. They let temporary struggles determine permanent conclusions. Every difficult situation speaks loudly. Problems demand attention. Pressure creates emotional reactions. Fear begins whispering that things will never improve. The voice of fear always attempts to sound convincing. It says, "Look around you. Nothing is changing. Look at your situation. Look at your limitations. Look at your past failures." Fear constantly pulls attention toward what is visible. Faith looks beyond visible conditions. Faith understands that today's struggle does not automatically determine tomorrow's outcome. Faith refuses to accept limitations as permanent realities. Instead of focusing completely on what can be seen, faith places confidence in something greater than changing circumstances. You cannot spend every day feeding your mind with worry, defeat, and negativity and expect strength to rise within you. Whatever continually enters your heart eventually begins shaping your thoughts. Thoughts repeated long enough become beliefs, and beliefs influence actions. If you constantly meditate on problems, you begin expecting problems. If you constantly rehearse defeat in your mind, defeat starts feeling unavoidable. Faith is not a mysterious force given only to a select group of people. Many imagine that strong faith belongs exclusively to those who seem spiritually gifted, naturally confident, or unusually strong. They believe some people were simply born with a greater ability to trust, believe, and remain steady under pressure. Because of that thinking, they often look at their own lives and assume they lack something important. They say, maybe I just don't have enough faith, or perhaps faith works for other people, but not for me. The truth is that faith grows, faith develops, faith increases over time. Just as physical strength does not appear overnight, spiritual strength does not suddenly appear without a process. Nobody walks into a gym for the first time and immediately lifts heavy weights. Muscles become stronger through repeated exercise, through consistent effort, and through regular training. Growth comes little by little. In the same way, faith becomes stronger through continual exposure to truth. Consider how a child learns to walk. At first, there are small steps, uncertain movements, and occasional falls. The child does not begin with perfect balance or complete confidence. Progress comes through repetition. Day after day, step after step, strength develops. Eventually, what once seemed difficult becomes natural. Faith operates in a similar way. It grows through continual hearing and continual learning. Every time truth enters your heart, something begins happening inside you. Every time you spend time filling your mind with truth instead of fear, strength begins increasing. Every time you replace negative thoughts with thoughts that build confidence, faith begins taking deeper roots. Many people expect growth without consistency. They want strong faith while giving very little attention to what enters their minds daily. They spend hours listening to fear, worry, bad news, discouraging conversations, and negative opinions, then wonder why confidence feels weak when challenges arrive. Imagine trying to build physical health while eating unhealthy food every day. You cannot continually feed your body harmful things and expect strength to increase. Eventually, what you consume affects how you feel, how you function, and how much energy you possess. The same principle works in the inner life. Your heart and mind are constantly being fed by something. Some people feed on disappointment. Others feed on fear. Some continually replay old failures, painful experiences, and negative memories. They spend so much time dwelling on what went wrong that they unknowingly strengthen doubt. What you hear repeatedly eventually shapes what you believe. This is why words, conversations, and thoughts matter so much. The mind acts like fertile ground. Whatever seeds are planted there begin producing results. Plant fear and worry, and anxiety begins growing. Plant confidence and truth, and faith begins growing. You cannot eat one meal and expect strength for a lifetime. A single meal may satisfy temporary hunger, but lasting strength requires continual nourishment. Physical life depends on regular feeding, and inner strength follows the same pattern. People do not remain physically healthy by eating once a month. They eat consistently because the body needs regular supply. Many people want yesterday's strength to carry them through today's battles. They depend on old experiences, old moments of encouragement, or past victories while neglecting present growth. But yesterday's meal cannot remove today's hunger. Yesterday's encouragement cannot replace today's need for strength. Daily feeding creates daily strength. When truth continually enters the heart, something begins changing quietly beneath the surface. Confidence starts replacing uncertainty. Peace starts replacing anxiety. Hope begins replacing discouragement. Fear slowly loses its control because faith is becoming stronger through constant nourishment. Many people underestimate the power of the words they speak every day. They think words are merely sounds that disappear into the air the moment they leave their mouths. They speak carelessly, react emotionally, and repeat negative statements without considering the effect those words may be having on their thinking and outlook. Yet words carry influence far beyond what many people realize. Words reveal what fills the heart, and they often become the framework through which people begin seeing their lives. Listen carefully to ordinary conversations, and you will notice something important. Some people constantly speak with expectation, confidence, and hope. Others continually speak defeat, worry, and discouragement. One person says, "I believe things will work out." Another says, "Nothing good ever happens for me." One says, "I'll find a way through this situation." Another says, "I never get a break." Over time, these patterns of speech become deeply connected to how people think and what they expect from life. Many people pray for change and ask for victory, but immediately afterward, they begin speaking words that contradict what they desire. They ask for peace and then spend the entire day repeating fearful thoughts. They ask for strength and then continually say, "I can't handle this anymore." They ask for opportunities and then declare, "Nothing ever works in my favor." Imagine a farmer walking into a field carrying two different bags of seed. In one bag are healthy seeds that produce good crops. In the other are damaged seeds that produce nothing useful. It would make little sense for the farmer to plant harmful seeds while expecting a healthy harvest later. Yet many people do something similar through their words. They speak doubt while hoping for confidence. They speak defeat while wanting victory. They speak limitation while praying for greater possibilities. Words have a way of reinforcing beliefs. When people repeatedly speak negative things, those words do not simply vanish. The mind hears them repeatedly, and eventually those statements begin feeling true, even if they were never true in the first place. A person who continually says, "I always fail," begins expecting failure. A person who constantly says, "I'm not capable," slowly starts believing those limitations. Many people become trapped in cycles they unknowingly created through repeated speech. They replay the same negative phrases for years. They say, "I never have enough." They say, "Nothing changes." They say, "My future looks hopeless." They repeat those statements so often that those thoughts begin shaping their expectations and influencing their decisions. Fear often uses words as a doorway. When pressure comes, fear wants people to speak immediately according to what they see. Difficult situations create emotional reactions, and emotions often want quick expressions. But not every thought deserves agreement, and not every fear deserves a voice. This does not mean pretending difficulties do not exist. It does not mean ignoring reality or denying challenges. Problems may be real, pressures may exist, and obstacles may stand directly in front of you. Yet there is a difference between acknowledging a challenge and surrendering to it with your words. Some people describe their problems so frequently that those problems become larger in their minds. They talk about limitations every day until limitations become all they can see. Their speech continually strengthens the very things they want to overcome. Words spoken repeatedly begin creating expectation, and expectation strongly influences direction. The language people use daily often becomes a mirror reflecting what they truly believe deep within themselves. Faith is more than agreement. Many people believe that simply accepting something mentally is the same as living by faith, but true faith goes beyond thoughts and words alone. A person can nod in agreement, say all the right things, and claim to believe something with complete sincerity, yet genuine faith eventually moves beyond discussion and enters the realm of action. Belief that never influences decisions, attitudes, or behavior often remains only an idea rather than a living force. Think about everyday life. People demonstrate belief through action all the time without even noticing it. When someone sits in a chair, they do not spend several minutes wondering whether the chair will support them. They sit because they trust it will hold them. When someone steps onto an airplane, they do not personally inspect every engine or study every mechanical detail. They take their seat because they believe the aircraft will carry them to its destination. Their actions reveal confidence in something they cannot fully control or see. Real faith functions in a similar way. Faith does not simply say, "I believe." Faith begins shaping choices and responses. Faith starts influencing the way people live each day. The words spoken and the actions taken eventually reveal what truly exists within the heart. Many people desire change, pray for change, and talk about change while continuing to live according to old patterns of fear and doubt. They want new outcomes while holding tightly to old habits. They expect different results while refusing to make different choices. They say they trust for greater things. Yet every action still flows from worry and uncertainty. Imagine a person standing beside a river wanting to cross to the other side. A bridge stretches directly across the water, strong and secure. The person studies the bridge, admires its construction, and tells everyone around them that the bridge looks dependable. They speak positively about it and assure others they believe it will hold their weight. But if they never place their foot onto the bridge, their words alone do not carry them across the river. Many people approach faith exactly this way. They admire truth, talk about truth, and agree with truth, but never take steps that demonstrate confidence. Action gives evidence to belief. Action reveals whether confidence exists beyond words. Fear often works hard to stop movement. Fear whispers questions and creates hesitation. It says, "What if things go wrong?" It says, "What if you fail?" It says, "What if you take a step and nothing changes?" Fear always wants people to remain frozen, waiting endlessly for perfect conditions before moving forward. But perfect conditions rarely arrive. Waiting for every circumstance to feel comfortable often leads to endless delay. People can spend years standing at the edge of opportunity because fear convinces them that the timing is not right or that they are not ready. Movement often requires courage before confidence fully appears. Many people think confidence comes first and action follows later. But sometimes action itself becomes part of the process that strengthens confidence. Small steps taken consistently begin building greater strength. One decision creates momentum for another decision. One act of trust creates room for greater trust. Faith often moves before complete understanding appears. It refuses to remain trapped by endless uncertainty, hesitation, or fear-driven analysis. It steps forward while many questions still remain unanswered. Feelings are powerful influences in human life. Every person experiences them. Some days people wake up feeling motivated, energetic, and confident. Other days they wake up feeling discouraged, uncertain, and emotionally drained. Feelings can shift quickly and unexpectedly. A person may feel hopeful in the morning and frustrated by evening. One conversation can affect emotions. One disappointment can alter a person's mood. One unexpected challenge can create emotional pressure that seems difficult to ignore. Many people build their decisions almost entirely upon emotions without realizing it. They ask themselves, "How do I feel today?" before determining what they believe, what they expect, or how they will respond. If they feel strong, they move forward confidently. If they feel weak, they pull back. If they feel inspired, they pursue goals with excitement. If they feel discouraged, they begin questioning everything. The problem with living this way is that feelings constantly change. Emotions can be influenced by physical tiredness, stress, circumstances, memories, and countless other factors. Because of this, emotions make unreliable foundations for long-term direction. If a person builds an entire life upon changing feelings, stability becomes difficult to maintain. Imagine trying to build a house on shifting sand. At first, everything may appear fine. The structure may look secure from the outside, but beneath the surface, the foundation remains unstable. When pressure comes, movement begins. Cracks appear. The structure weakens because it rests on something constantly changing. Many people experience this kind of instability in their thinking and outlook. Their confidence rises and falls according to emotions. On good days, they feel certain about the future. On difficult days, they suddenly question everything. One encouraging moment fills them with excitement, but one disappointment pulls them back into fear. Feelings themselves are not the enemy. Emotions are part of human experience. Happiness, excitement, sadness, disappointment, and concern are realities every person encounters. The issue appears when emotions become the final authority over choices and beliefs. Strong emotions can sometimes create powerful illusions. Fear can make small problems appear enormous. Discouragement can convince a person that progress is impossible. Temporary frustration can create the feeling that nothing is improving, even when positive things are quietly happening beneath the surface. Think about a cloudy day. Dark clouds can cover the sky and block the warmth of sunlight. Looking upward may create the impression that the sun disappeared completely, yet the sun has not vanished. It continues shining beyond what can immediately be seen. Temporary conditions only affect perception. Feelings often work in a similar way. Emotional pressure can create the impression that hope has disappeared, strength has disappeared, or possibilities have disappeared. Yet reality is often different from what emotions temporarily suggest. Many people have made painful decisions because they reacted entirely according to feelings in difficult moments. Anger has caused people to speak words they later regretted. Fear has caused people to avoid opportunities that could have changed their lives. Discouragement has caused people to abandon dreams before growth had time to appear. A person cannot stop emotions from arriving, but emotions do not need to become permanent directors of life. Feelings may speak loudly, but loud voices are not always accurate voices. Temporary emotional conditions should never become permanent conclusions.